I think you're exactly right, Alex. The Trump his timing couldn't have been better. What these WikiLeaks dumps and this dump in this Vault 7 proves is that the CIA has gone rogue. The CIA could tap and hack in a way that it really emulated Russia. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you would think that Russia was the one doing the hacking. And that's probably the way the CIA rogue agents internally could easily have put on the NSA on the trail of supposed Russians that were colluding with Trump on the election when actually it was the CIA all the time in a setup. I mean, it's really astounding. The CIA has created a rogue organization within the CIA. No one knew about it, secret, that was larger in its scope and capability than the NSA. And it was really a counter agency to the NSA, completely unaccountable to Congress. I mean, what the NSA is spying on Congress, the CIA is feeding information into the system, emulating the Russians or emulating anyone they want. No one knows the CIA has these hacking capabilities. It is, and in fact, it's espionage and counter espionage. It's the through the looking glass that we've talked about. I mean, this is the CIA, which I think has become the most dangerous agency in the United States, if not the world, completely out of control. John
That's right. The
Brennan.
Russians aren't the threat. It's the CIA.
CIA is the threat. The CIA is the threat. We don't have control over the CIA. Well, I think Trump's going to do the best job anyone's ever done. I think Trump is going to massively remove people from the CIA, from the State Department. I mean, the percentages of contributions in campaign contributions in 2016, 96% of the contributions from the State Department, whatever it is, from the CIA, all of these agencies
Obama.
were completely infiltrated by Obama and Clinton. And Trump
God,
is
how
going
could we
to-
ever let such scum run everything? I mean,
Well, this is the problem with the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy tends to be leftist, out of elite education, out of universities, and there's an inbred culture in Washington D.C. And Donald Trump is taking it on, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a war because these intelligence agencies, the State Department, are not going to go down quiet.
Sure.
What Hillary was, referring to when she knew that if they didn't win the election, that they all could all be hanging at the end of a noose. I mean, I think the crimes committed by the Obama administration are legion. The American people are going to be, yeah, and this is a fight to the death. I mean, once Trump, I think he's going to do it the right way. He's going to get Congress to investigate. Trump now has control of the Justice Department. All of this nonsense about Obama didn't order the FISA electronic surveillance. Well, Obama didn't have to order it. The Watergate defense doesn't work.
Sure.
Well, it's just beginning. I mean, this is just the very beginning. And what you're going to see now from Assange and WikiLeaks, the drip, drip, drip of information. And by the way, on the things we're revealing on Fannie and Freddie are reaching the highest levels of government. I mean, I've gotten confirmation. Well, traditionally, you would think the Congress would be investigating. You'd think we'd have a press that was capable of investigating. But the New York Times, Washington Post is not going to investigate Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. They're just not going to do it. And the Congress, with the elite GOP leadership from Washington, Ryan McConnell, the whole bunch of them, Boehner before, aren't going to investigate the Democrats. So you have the investigative agencies, full power in Congress, and this should have been recognized and brought out. It takes Julian Assange, who has the courage to reveal documents from within these agencies that the CIA never intended anyone to see. So this is the whole point: is that it was a secret rogue operation, hidden even from Congress. I got to ask, where'd the funding for this come? More massive than the NSA? Did it come from the CIA drug running operations? Where did the CIA get the money to put this operation together?
Why is the modern CIA so arrogant?
I think the CIA has always been a rogue organization ever since John Kennedy. And presidents who have not controlled the CIA have John Kennedy, Richard Nixon have fared. I think so too. I think that's important to have immediately. Let's get some indictments and investigations from the Department of Justice. But John Kennedy's mistake was he said he was going to break up the CIA into 1,000 pieces, and he didn't do it that day. I'd be happy to see President Trump just issue an executive order and close down the CIA, just close it all down, confiscate all of its internal records, lock the doors, and send in the Department of Justice to find out.
Sure.
Well, in the article, we're not being attacked because the documents I've got are all legitimate. Well, what's being exposed here is that Obama had decided that we did not need to be a nation of middle class homeowners, and they were going to take Freddie and Fannie, and they robbed it. They stole, $260 billion of dividends from the private investors in Freddie and Fannie and put it into Obamacare to fund insurance subsidies that Congress had refused to appropriate. What they wanted to do was what Obama wanted to do was fund the insurance companies to take all of these losses on the, people who had illnesses that were, non-disclosed when the insurance was bought, and all kinds of just cover inappropriate coverages in policies written for older people to have maternal care and child child care, etc. All of this was a scheme by Obama that was going to cost the taxpayers billions of dollars. Yes, and they wanted to wreck Fannie and Freddie in the process, because you see the turning over the mortgage market to the big banks and the only homeowners that there would have been, the only ones subsidized by the government, would have been low-income buyers. The middle class,
who never ended up paying it off. So it was another group they could use.
Yeah, and the middle class would have lost the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. We would have lost the liquidity needed to get reasonably priced mortgages. And the real estate bubble was caused by the Democrats too, because they packed Fannie and Freddie with all these subprime, low-income.
Yeah, Larry
loans.
Summers.
Yeah, and then when that exploded, what happened was that they put money into Fannie and Freddie with the conservatorship, Treasury did, which would have been fine.
Works.
Obama always was a Saul Alinsky communist. Let's face it, it wasn't even a socialist. And there's a resentment of the middle class wealth wanting to redistribute it to the lower classes. Anyone in the middle class who achieves anything economically, the Obama mentality, Saul Alinsky mentality, resented, and went back to racism, and they want to redistribute wealth to the low income. They want to reduce everything to the lower income status, so everyone's dependent on the government. Home ownership is very threatening to socialists because it allows a person to have a sanctuary, a place that is their
and
refuge.
The bankers above it, they want a culture of renters.
Well, the bankers, Wall Street just wants to control the securitization process, because then it would have only big lenders who wanted to build rental properties would be the ones favored in Wall Street securitization of mortgages.
These people are so uncool.
And what's revealed in these documents is that here's Treasury openly discussing the fact that this is going to increase the cost of mortgages for the middle class. It's going to end the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. It's going to undermine the mortgage market for the middle class. And they don't care, because they think the United States needs to be a nation of renters like Europe.
God, I hate
and the only
people.
ones who they would subsidize would be low income, keeping around, the federal FHA or the VA. And they would not come out to tell the American people this is what they were doing. It was all they lied to say that Fannie and Freddie. Well, this is a major issue for Sessions, should be investigating the Fannie and Freddie theft, because I think it is criminal. I think it violated all of the corporate law that we've had in terms of shareholder rights. And there's lawsuits now, civil lawsuits, going through the federal courts for the shareholders to recover this $260 billion in dividends that were stolen. It's the biggest theft of dividends, corporate dividends, in U.S. corporate history. And the U.S. government did the theft. And in the process, they're now bankrupting Fannie and Freddie and undermining the mortgage market. Once rates start going up, you're going to see tremendous pressure on the mortgage markets. And again, it's all going to trace back to the Obama administration determination to destroy Freddie and Fannie. Well, I think you're going to see a couple things. First of all, Trump is always been very lucky all of his life. He needs to have top security right now. Especially when we know for a fact the CIA is rogue and is packed with John Brennan, I think basically traitors to the United States.
John Brenner sleeper cells.
exactly. And President Trump needs to take the threat from the CIA seriously. It's a dangerous organization, and if it were my choice, in the middle of the night, I'd issue an executive order. When they all showed up to work tomorrow, the doors would be locked, and I'd seize the agency. Yeah, I'd also undertake a major investigation of George Soros, and I'd shut him down. He's completely running counter to the United States interests. His funding, he's got more power as an individual over national policy than maybe any individual's had in the history of the world, and it's rogue as well.
Yeah, he thinks he's president.
And third, the Federal Reserve is going to raise rates. They held rates at zero throughout the Obama administration. No, they can't. They're independent, though. Well, you can't. I mean, Janet Yellen was completely in Obama's corner. She allowed Obama to, basically add $1 trillion.
Sure, and she's trying to kill the Trump recovery. So what does he do about that?
Well, I think Trump will be smart enough to take the rate increase and to turn up the heat on Congress to pass a massive tax cut.
Exactly.
So all of these things, if Trump is allowed, he's going to boomerang. Well, if they raise rates, it's going to slow down the economy because everything's going to cost more. It's going to cost more even to service the federal debt at $2 trillion. Mortgage rates are going to go up. Everything interest rate based is going to cost more. What you do to counter that is you essentially lower taxes in order to stimulate economic growth. And that helps.
Can't the power of the presidency take control of the Fed? I know it's a private group, but they always claim it's not. Can't he politically dominate that group?
He needs to get Janet Yellen to resign and to appoint someone in there who's not so politically motivated for the Democrats. The Federal Reserve has been under the
who would be good to nominate? I mean, he listens. Who would you nominate? Who's good?
Oh, well, there's several people that would be very good. I mean, I have to think through a list to come up with a name. But the point is, under Obama politicized the Federal Reserve. He politicized the Treasury. He politicized income tax and the IRS. He politicized the Department of Justice and the FBI. He politicized the State Department.
Sure, so the president can do that. Dr. Corsi, your articles are on Infowars.com. Great job. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Our Washington Bureau Chief.